The tropical luxuriance of the images in Revelation tends to obscure the book's structure, so much so that it can seem more like a bad acid trip than a masterpiece of religious literature. Here, at the midpoint of the narrative, it will be well to review the action so far. John fell into a trance on the island of Patmos and saw God on his throne, a vision that expanded into a kaleidoscopic vista of Christ in majesty among his saints and angels, whereupon the Lamb appeared to open a book closed with 7 seals. As the seals were unlocked, each released a new woe. The 7th seal initiated a series of trumpet blasts, which introduced 6 further woes. Now a 7th and last trumpet note announces the main cosmic drama. Despite the careful division into 7 and 7 acts, the presentation has been confusing. The woes included many repetitions, and there was no development or progression in topic or intensity. Clarity, however, begins when we realize that the troubles, fantastic as they are, comprise only 2 themes: natural disasters and social upheaval. As for natural disasters, we have had earthquakes accompanied by storms, showers of meteors and asteroids that poison fresh water and brine, eclipses of the sun and moon that plunge the world into darkness, and a plague of monster insects. As for social upheavals, we have seen war with its accompaniment of violence, profiteering, and death. War that is global, radiating outwards from the Middle East. All the woes are cataclysms of nature and society. These are precisely the events humans find hardest to accept as part of an ordered, just, or even endurable cosmos. Having God bring them about in itself does nothing to make them seem less random, cruel, and absurd. Accordingly, justice is demanded by the martyrs who sleep beneath the altar, by those anointed in the wake of their tribulation, and by the 2 prophet witnesses who are killed by the king of the locusts. The response comes as a series of visions that make clear that the preceding woes were symptoms and warnings of the coming day of judgment. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. And his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up unto God and to his throne. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she hath a place prepared of God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. What we see here are the celestial prototypes of earthly actions. The woman, interpreted by Christian tradition as Mary and as the Church, was intended by the author of Revelation to be the spiritual Israel, of which the Jewish people and the land of Israel are manifestations. She stands on the moon, is robed with the sun, and wears a crown of stars to show she is a cosmic being. Her child is the Messiah, Jesus, who is caught up to God after a short life, but who is expected to return to rule the world and see justice done. The Messiah's initial stay on earth was abbreviated by the dragon, Satan, the personification of evil, whose tail sweeps stars from the sky because he disrupts the astrologically attuned course of destiny. The dragon's heads are 7 here because he is a magical being. His horns represent power, his crowns dominion. The woman flees to the desert from a polluted and dangerous society to await a better time, as did the Essene community whence John the Baptist emerged, though the author probably had in mind more the early church, which fled abroad for safety after the Roman war. The vision of the restored temple, seen through the thunderclouds, is a foreshadowing of Jerusalem's restoration, which will come at the book's conclusion. It is also a reminder that shortly before this book was written, Rome had destroyed Jerusalem and burned the temple. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent, called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. And when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might flee into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time and times and half a time from the face of the serpent. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. The detail of the dragon vomiting a river to stop the woman is an echo of the story of the Israelites crossing the Red Sea when they escaped Egypt. The present political and moral struggle is an echo of the Exodus, though it would better express the author's viewpoint to say that the Exodus was a foreshadowing of the new, unique, and irrepeatable sacred history chronicled here. The woman escaping on eagle's wings still carries the book she has had in hand since first she appeared. This would have to be the prophecy we are reading now. It is an ideal emblem of the apocalyptic concept of time, the present historical moment experienced as sacred history. And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Jesus Christ. Though the text meant this figuratively, the artist has given us a literal skirmish between the God-fearing and the dragon. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, and his seat, and great authority. The beast is Rome, who arises from the sea, because Rome sent galleys full of troops across the Mediterranean to subjugate the rebellious Jews. The beast is a composite of 4 animals, with reference to the creatures mentioned in chapter 7 of Daniel, which represent the sequence of world empires. Rome is their mongrel successor. The name of blasphemy alludes to the emperors assuming divine titles. The dragon gives his power, represented by a scepter, to Rome, since Rome is the devil's viceroy on earth. And they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. Note that the beast has dragons emblazoned on his shield. He fights in the name of the dragon. The opening heavens above the saints make it clear whose side they are fighting on. And I beheld another beast coming out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on earth in the sight of men. The second beast, whom Bible scholars generally refer to as the false prophet, is the high priest, in title at least the highest national official in the Roman province of Israel. He comes out of the earth because he is native to the land. The lamb's horns indicate he usurps the authority which properly belongs to the Lamb, the Messiah, who is both high priest and king. The high priests were chosen from wealthy aristocratic families who were educated, modern, and saw the benefits of membership in the Roman world empire. Thus they speak as a dragon. They are mouthpieces for Roman policy. The fire from heaven and other miracles attributed to the second beast are the stock wonders performed by Hellenistic magicians. The implication is that all of the false prophets' spiritual pretensions are deceptive show. This other beast deceiveth them that dwell on the earth, by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image of the beast. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. The high priest makes an image of the beast, that is, he promotes the emperor worship expected in any Roman province, which was in fact merely a declaration of political allegiance, although expressed in religious form. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. The marking of hand and brow with the number of the beast is a figure of speech to indicate allegiance to the occupying power. It was inspired by the desire for symmetry with the seal of God placed on the foreheads of the elect. The number of the beast is actually a pun. Hebrew, like Latin and Greek, used alphabet letters to represent numbers, and the transliteration of Nero, Nun Resh Vav, could be read as 60 plus 600 plus 6. The book of Revelation was written thus in code, since to criticize the emperor and his government would have been an unhealthy activity in 1st century AD Israel.